can count on the Iron Bank as soon as the gold arrives.
Enough with the clever plans.
All right, so the common attractions for next week suggest that Daenerys is like, hey, yeah, I got it. Yeah, we're gonna do this. How about I take my huge army and I go into King's Landing?
Something about it.
What I want to do.
Yes.
Right. Although, and so the idea, I don't want to kill thousands of innocent people. She's gonna be like, hey, look, I'm gonna kill thousands to save millions. She sounds like she'll buy that argument.
Strategically, look, there's the Red Keep where most of the army is, and then there's the city. Just go take down the Red Keep and keep most of the city alive. You can plan this out. You got this.
Can you control dragons that much?
I mean, she should be able to, right?
So
she can tell them when to shoot fire.
I know. She's got plans.
We also saw a quick shot of Brienne severing somebody's head, swinging her sword.
Where is she?
Missing her.
I know.
She's in Winterfell.
She's in Winterfell.
She's in Winterfell. Yeah. Sansa sitting on a throne, so again, a reminder that she's like, she might like this. Yeah. But again, it's a preview. She might have been like, oh man, I wish Jon were here. But obviously, the main thing, we got a couple of shots of Daenerys saying enough. We got the dragon looking like it might be flying into battle at the end. And it opens with Cersei, not that we needed to remind ourselves that there are no half measures for Cersei. I'm not making a deal where I'm not gonna cut a deal with the Starks where they can have the North, right? I get everything, I rule everything.
Has she seized the Tyrell fortune?
Well, that's the thing, that we got that from there is that we got the Iron Bank rep in his 2-week holiday saying, no, of course, everything will be great as soon as we receive the gold, suggesting that Jamie got to Highgarden in an hour and a half, but getting back to King's Landing with the gold is going to be a bit of an adventure. Right after that line, we saw a sword come out. So again, that maybe their tactic is that when they hear, because they will hear, because it'll be convenient for them to hear that Cersei took Highgarden, that they'll somehow get people there, that there will be an attempt to seize that gold from.
Yeah.
That's right.
Them.
Right.
Yeah.
They'll be back.
I need to see a map. Like, is Dragonstone in between Highgarden and King's Landing?
It's way up here,
yeah, it's up
King's
there.
Landing.
So it doesn't, no, that's not gonna work out.
Yeah.
But there's ravens that fly through the night.
So that's not an issue that it won't work out.
Does Lady Olenna like have a Dragonstone raven where she's like, all right, these fools are coming, boom,
or now that she's dead, she just turns into a spirit that tells everyone everything.
She's a fast-growing vine of roses that makes its way.
She's dead. She's a dead person.
She's for sure
She's a dead person.
She's dead.
She's gone, yeah.
Maybe she'll be resurrected.
A loss, a great loss for the show, but and we talked about it a little in our review of this week's episode. But I mean, no one owned their own death scene more than she did.
I have a quick question,
Meredith.
If the Lannisters have taken over Highgarden's money, why do they even need the Bank of Bravos if they're just going to give them money to have more money? Can't they just take the Highgarden money and use it?
The bank.
Well, they owe the bank.
So
and the Lannister always pays his debts.
Yeah, they have to pay their. I mean, in a sense, they could vanquish the bank and start their own bank.
Right.
But it's far away.
Yeah, right.
Exactly, it's far away. Why not? Just get
So
rid
I
of
think
them.
what you do is you're like, all right, I definitely don't want Bravos funding my enemies.
Yeah.
Let me get myself on some kind of financial payment plan
fair.
that doesn't involve me raiding the entire bank of Highgarden. I'm just gonna give them my down payment. We need to get the Jesse James train running this way.
Yeah, and she said and she manipulated them. They want to pick a winner, so she's got to pay them back and show that they're a winner, and then they'll back them, and then that's all. Then they can do everything they need to.
I'm just thinking reckless Cersei.
Yeah, but she's not reckless in that way. She's reckless. She's reckless in her personal choices.
I think there was an Animaniacs character called Katie Gaboom who would get a little more upset and a little more upset and then explode and then be back to kind of normal for a while.
Okay.
And I think that's it. Okay, maybe the Hulk.
So real quick.
So she had her Hulk moment and she's going back to being not Banner, but like certain normal Cersei.
One thing we didn't mention in the review that can be touched upon here is that a big theme of episode 3 was that we learned from our mistakes, right? Jamie learned, hey, this is what Rob did to me. This is what I've done to them. Again, we think they have a spy, or I do. But and Diana Rigg talks that she'll not get to learn from her mistakes. So, and we know that Oberon made an enormous mistake by gloating,
Gloating.
right? Otherwise, he kills, what's that dude's name?
Sir Gregor.
He kills Sir Gregor, and then everything's great, and Lady Dorne is happy, and she's, having a sixsome, and their life is good. Here's who didn't learn from her mistakes, and isn't, even though she's a brilliant tactician, as it turns out, but Cersei. She was careless by showing herself in bed with Jaime, even if everybody's talking about it, if everybody knows about it, for sure, it's different. And she'll lose support in King's Landing. That's gonna be a theme that I suspect at some point.
I like that idea because we always overlook the commoners, but these are the people that make up the bulk.
They're not gonna like it.
I would say,
and real quick, sorry, but and then she has also made a mistake by deciding that she is going to torture Lady Dorne and her daughter.
Right.
Like if you got them, if you want your revenge, you cut their heads off and you've killed them and that's it. Believe me, I think they're getting out of there, or at least Lady Dorne's getting out of there.
Yeah, I think Valera's getting out of there. Yeah.
The daughter may be done.
She is done.
Yeah.
No, I don't know, unless somebody slips the same antidote to her.
It has to happen so fast, though. Remember how quickly Marcella died?
It's different for everybody. That's what
Yeah. Also, haven't they been inoculated enough because their whole
believe you don't
thing
know
is
that,
kissing
Kim.
people with
Jesus.
poison?
I only know
also
about hair.
they're always drinking that
Yeah,
stuff. How long is the half-life on drinking
know.
the
the
whatever?
5-hour energy.
So
2.5
damn, I
hours.
forget what I was gonna say. But definitely the one thing I wanted to talk about was seeing Brienne of Tarth in action.
Yeah.
Hale, makes me think of when Littlefinger said, "Don't turn your back on Cersei. Cersei's coming for Winterfell."
Yeah.
And so that's a question I have for this episode.
And it opened with her saying, "I want to rule everywhere." That means
Yeah.
Winterfell, right? So she may have thought, "Let's go there," especially if they hear Jon Snow is elsewhere. If they hear Jon is with.
Take your Highgarden army, move it all the way to Winterfell in 7 hours, right?
Yeah, but
Sure,
then
well,
also
they'll
you have
fly.
Littlefinger with whom there's not. You never know how explicitly people understand that Littlefinger has betrayed them.
Yeah.
Especially given all the times it seemed like Littlefinger was on the side, convincing folks he's betrayed in the meantime, that he's playing the long game with them. So maybe Cersei shows up, knocks on the door, and Littlefinger's like, "Yeah, we're here. We're ready to be part of your kingdom
we've
again."
always been ready.
Jon comes back and he's like, "All right, let me explain this to you, what I did to buy time in the meantime, because I'm scared of you, but in a way where I know I'm smarter than you." So he seems to be all things to all people and being able to pull it off.
To that end, I hope that scene in the attractions in next week's episode of Brienne lowering a sword, that she just thought, you know what, I'm gonna come up with a Littlefinger and I'm just gonna cut his head off, and I'll probably get killed for it, but my job is to protect Sansa, and I could do no greater deed.
That's
than
not
just
a bad call.
than just to cut this guy's head off.
Tormund from the sidelines goes, "What a woman."
That's totally right. He'll be like, I love it. I hated that guy. Everybody hates that guy.
That's why he won't die so easily.
It's inconceivable that I'm correct, but it's a fun thing to think about.
But it's the kind of thing that like she could do because she thinks she's doing the right thing, and you needed someone that smart later, and you all die.
And she'd sacrifice herself for Sansa. That'd be her greatest honor.
She said she would.
She said she would, yeah.
Maybe creepy.
And by the way, for Arya also, I mean, Arya may have rejected it, but she also, when Arya shows up, she'll be sworn to protect her, although nobody needs protecting less than Arya Stark.
I can't wait for her to come back.
All right, anxious for next week. Thanks for watching our recap. Be sure to check that out as well, and we'll see you next week.